As always, please retry this question before watching the video, reading the relevant context, which in this case is really the whole essay if you haven't read it recently, and probably good for review either way. Suppose the writer's primary purpose had been to explain a common debate about the definition of art. Would this essay accomplish that purpose? So, what you're asking yourself, is that what the essay is primarily about? Is that what it is primarily about? If you just read the essay, hopefully you know that the answer is no. That is not what it is primarily about. And yes, does it mention it? Sure. Mention something about it, but it is not what it is primarily about. So the answer is going to be no. If you didn't know that it was no, we'll talk a little bit about what you could do to still get it correct. But let's just look at the no's, and we're going to go ahead and eliminate F and G based on that. We'll come back and still look at F and G in a second, but we're going to eliminate because this is an obvious no. Because it focuses on why the work of one street artist has gained popularity. And that is what this does. It just focuses on one artist. So it's not an overarching, about the definition of art. It's just about one artist. So this is almost certainly the right answer. And we'll look at J. Because it explains Banksy's reason for choosing to create street art. So that would be a reason that it isn't the primarily purpose of the definition of art. And that was just a small part of the essay as well. Banksy's reason for choosing to create street art. So it's telling Banksy's story. The reasons why I chose to do street art is just one aspect of that story. And so that does not negate the original claim, of it being about explaining the definition of art. So the one that does is H, because it's just focusing on one street artist and why he gained popularity, etc. So H is going to be our right answer. But let's say you didn't know that it was no. Let's just read what comes after the yeses and nos to see if we can eliminate F or G based just on that. So is the purpose to explain the definition of art? Because it demonstrates that characteristics of street art are similar to those found in other types of art. No, I mean, that even if this is true, it doesn't make the purpose about the definition of art. Yeah, so that's just wrong. Answer G, because it explains why street art is controversial. So that would also not give us a definition of art in general if it was just talking about street art. So answer G, we could eliminate that even if you didn't know is yes or no. The explanation of why doesn't even logically answer, doesn't even make sense to say that that would be proof that it was defining art in this essay. So we are confirmed in our answer H. If this made sense to you, please add it to your worksheet, write what you learned that you want to retain and the answer, and then go on to do the mastery for summary questions until you get 10 questions correct in a row. If you want to do the lesson on summary questions as well, you can look that up before trying to do the mastery for 10 in a row, since there weren't many summary questions on this test. But otherwise, come back and do the next category that you miss the most of.